In the bustling heart of Port of Spain, nestled on a hill next to the SDA church, stood Port of Spain SDA School. Its whitewashed walls gleamed in the sunlight, a stark contrast to the lively streets below. This was where Toby, a 13-year-old with a sharp mind, spent his days. At home, things were chaotic. His parents, dreamers who left the practicalities of life to the stars, believed the universe would guide him. But Toby knew he needed more than fate to make it through school. One morning, as Toby sat in the classroom, lost in thought, the school bell jolted him back to reality. Today, like every other day, he faced a choice. His classmates, especially Brandon, the leader of the pack, were always up to something.
Toby, we're skipping class to catch a movie at the mall.
Brandon said with a grin. Toby looked up, squinting his eyes, and meeting Brandon's gaze said,
Sounds fun, but I'm trying to avoid becoming Miss Ramdine's favorite student in detention.
His sarcastic reply drew laughter, but Toby felt a flicker of something deeper, resolve. He wasn't going to let peer pressure dictate his future anymore. The day's first class was English. Mrs. John, the teacher who believed in every student's potential, called on Toby to share his thoughts on the poem they'd read. Toby stood, his voice steady.
The poem made me think about choices. We're at a crossroads every day, and the decisions we make now shape who we'll become. It's easy to follow others, but sometimes the hardest path is the one worth taking. I see classmates every day breaking rules, but I think my future is worth more than labels people place on you as a bad seed. I made the choice not to be a follower, and I can stand and say, I will encourage any of my friends to be better versions of themselves. When we learn about the world and things that interest us, we unlock our true potential. Then we can really contribute to making changes in our world around us. It's like a drop in a bucket causes a ripple effect. Think of it this way, miss. We can both be born of the same parents like Cain and Abel in the story and turn out totally different because of our personal choices.
Mrs. John smiled, her eyes shining with pride. Was this a 13-year-old? She thought to herself. Looking pleased with the answer, she said,
Well said, Toby. Remember, each choice you make is a step toward the person you're destined to be. Keep it up, young man. I am proud of you for denying peer pressure. It's not easy in 2024 at this age of 13 for a young man to stay focused with all the distractions.
As the day went on, Toby felt something shift within him. At lunch, he sat alone under a towering mango tree, reflecting on his choices. For the first time, he felt a sense of clarity. He was breaking free from the expectations of others, choosing his path, and it felt empowering. That day marked a turning point for Toby. He knew it wouldn't always be easy, but he was ready to take control of his life, one decision at a time. Years later, Toby would look back on his time at Port of Spain SDA with pride. He became an architect, designing buildings that stood tall and strong, just like the person he had become. Toby's journey taught him that true success begins with a single choice, the decision to be true to oneself and follow the path that leads to greatness.